Germany has agreed to shut down all coal-fired electricity plants. A 28-member commission came to the agreement after 21 hours of talks which ended early on Saturday morning. Those taking part said it was an important move.
Es ist geschafft.
It's done, he said. 96.4% of the members of the Commission have approved this draft, which was finally discussed overnight. If we actually implement this, and we believe that it is possible, then we will be back in the top group of the few countries that will fulfill this international agreement of goals by 2030.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And as you saw from the montage at the beginning of this video, back in January 2019, Germany agreed to close down and mothball all of its coal-fired power stations. And that was a bad idea, because it meant putting all their energy needs into one particularly problematic basket. With their coal gone, they were reliant on solar, wind and Russian gas. Solar and wind, of course, make up a very small proportion. Most of Germany's energy requirements are in the form of Russian gas. That isn't working out quite as they planned. What are they to do? Well, let's have a look at this piece and we'll discuss what they're going to do. So here's a piece from Breitbart, and the headline is Green Germany weighs reopening coal power plants amid energy crisis. Well, who'd have thunk it? Well, me, actually. If you go back a few days and have a look at my previous output on this channel with regards to the German fuel crisis, you'll see in there, this is about a week ago now, I said that the only option they have is to reopen their coal plants. God, I'm good. You read it here first, folks. So today, this is the headline, and we've gone through that, and here we go with the actual story. Germany is considering reopening some of its decommissioned coal power plants in the hopes of getting a handle on its ongoing energy crisis. Well, yeah, I said that was the only option they had, because you can't let German industry sit there and fester, because everyone else will just take it over. Even the Germans, lame-brained as they are with their obsession with green politics, must surely realise that destroying an efficient, thriving country for the sake of some political agenda based on tofu-eating weirdo hippies isn't a good idea. Anyway, moving on. The reopening of shuttered plants is seen as an option as the country struggles to wean itself off its addiction to Russian fossil fuels. By the way, it's still paying Russia billions of euros a day for that gas. So, yeah, well done, Germany. You're funding this war. But while authorities have already rejected plans of delaying the decommissioning of the remainder of its nuclear power stations, again, a stupid move, a new plan involved either delaying the shutdown of coal-fired plants that are still in operation, there's not many, or in the reopening of plants that have previously been terminated, is now on the cards. In fact, it will require both, and I think also they're going to probably have to extend the life of the nuclear plants as well, because opening up a power station, it's not easy. According to the publication Die Zeit, the German government is considering the two moves alongside energy company RWO, with the group CEO Markus Kreber saying that the organisation is ready to act if needs be. Yes, well, needs be. Germany needs be. Get a grip. You're about to suffer an energy crisis like you've never known because of the hippies. You're virtue signalling your green credentials. Meanwhile, China is opening up 36 power stations, coal-powered, this year alone. It is up to the federal government to decide whether these blocks must be used temporarily and to what extent they should be used to reduce gas consumption. Well, just stop using Russian gas. You can't use anyone else's, as mentioned before, because you don't have the facilities to import it from anyone else, because eggs and one basket politics. The politics of morons. However, the RWE head was keen to emphasise that no U-turn on the phasing out of fossil fuels was occurring, and that the stopgap measures suggested did not represent a rollback of the country's climate change plans, because they're morons. It's not a backwards roll, but it's a step aside for a limited time. Yeah, we're still planning on closing all these stations, but because we need energy, we're going to keep them open. Temporarily. Yeah, let's see how that is in, I don't know, 10 years' time, when they're temporarily still opened. Because you've got no other option. You morons. I've got other words. I must stop using morons, but I really can't think of anything that applies. I mean, the level of IQ required to come up with these decisions is... It's not even room temperature. You know when you pull a yogurt out of the fridge? It's about 3-4 degrees. That's the IQ. That's the IQ of the people making these decisions. Can they not see further than next Tuesday? I mean, seriously. Anyway. Also mentioned by Kreber was RWE's efforts to move away from hydrocarbons sourced from Russia, although he warned that this would have to be a slow process, saying he appreciated the German government's refusal to implement restrictions on Russian energy imports. Yes, Germany refusing to stop buying from Russians. When the Russians are marching their tanks up towards Munich, will they consider it then? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time the Russians have taken Berlin. Would Germany still be buying Russian gas? Well, actually, at that point, they'd have no option. Russia would be insisting on it. But, you know, this is what happens when you have stupid people in charge. Well done, Germany. Keep voting them in. An immediate stop would have unforeseen consequences for the heat supply to households. Well, yeah. And imagine if tomorrow Putin went, do you know what? Screw you, Germany, and turned the tap off. What are you going to do then? Issue socks? You morons. However, despite the apparent eagerness for German authorities to move away from energy sourced in Russia, the country has taken a number of actions that appear to work contrary to this goal. No shit, Sherlock. For example, a plan to keep the country's remaining nuclear plants online for the time being, so as to lessen reliance on Russian supply, was rejected outright by authorities, as a result of a report drawn up by 2 government ministries. Yeah, that report being, we have let Greens control our agenda. The other one saying, we are morons. As a result of weighing up the benefits and risks, there are no risks, there's only benefits. An extension of the operating lives of the 3 remaining nuclear power plants is not recommended. Also, in view of the current gas crisis, the 2 ministries, both of whom are led by a minister from Germany's anti-nuclear Green Party, said in a joint statement that you don't ever, well, first of all, you never ever put Greens in charge of energy. And secondly, you never ever allow Greens to have their hands on any form of power ever, because they're morons and they will destroy the world. They think they're virtuous. They cannot see how mad and bad they are because they cannot see above their wall of imagined virtue. If you got rid of all the car engines, you'd have horses. Okay, they say, that's great, the horse, it's green. The horse produces so much shit, it's unbelievable. So you'd have to employ another horse to come along with the car to clear up the shit from the other 53 horses. Also, to carry one articulated lorry trailer's worth of food to a supermarket would require 200 horses. The amount of food involved in feeding the 200 horses would be more than what you would be carrying on the trailer. But this is Greens for you. They're morons. And of course you'd be busy growing all this food to feed horses and not enough to feed humans. But hey, you know. Credentials. Instead, the country's Federal Economics Minister, Robert Habeck, has put great emphasis on LNG. Liquefied natural gas is a brilliant product. All you need is some kind of port facility so you can take it off the boat, process it, store it, inject it into your national gas grid system for people to use. And Germany's great with things like that. And if it starts now, in about 30, 40 maybe as soon as 30 years, probably 40 years, it will be able to do it, because it has no containment facilities, it has no processing facilities, and it doesn't have a national gas transportation system. But that's Germany for you. Morons. Anyway, the German public has become extremely sceptical of the new government's climate change plans. That's because most of the people in Germany aren't morons. Codicil to that, they voted for the morons. So you have to wonder. With over half the population believing the coalition's green agenda will have a negative effect on German society. It's already having a negative effect on German society. Nearly half the country also believe that green policies will have a negative effect on their personal lives. Again, yes, when you're sitting in your little house, freezing, 5 layers of clothes on, and looking at a square box that used to have pictures on it, but is now just a place to put some ornaments, because there's no electricity coming in your house, and there's no gas coming in your house, and you have to keep the windows drawn so that not even cold air can get through. Thank the Greens as you starve to death because they're busy feeding horses your food. Germans, eh? Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch. One comment I'm going to read. Reality sucks when the idiots in Europe, especially Germany, under Angela Merkel, allowed themselves to be fooled by Putin. They now realise that they got suckered yet again by the Russian bear. If they expect America to save them yet again, Bonehead will screw them. Once a sucker, always a sucker. Germans, you suckers, you keep voting for these people. Stop voting for them. Stop voting for morons. And this applies to every country. Britain, we vote for morons. America, Jesus, you definitely vote for morons. Every country in the world votes for morons, except the Russians. The Russians don't vote for morons. They vote for psychopaths. Anyway, I'll come up and we'll finish this and round this video off. So there you are. The silver fox is a crystal ball. Or has a crystal ball. No, is. I am the oracle. I foresaw this, and I said it would happen, and now it's happening. It isn't hard to look into the future when you have a limited resource that you could source from many places, and you choose to source it from one place. That's just utter stupidity. I ran my own business, and I would never source anything exclusively from one supplier, because it doesn't take much. It takes a factory fire, a strike, bad weather. Could be any single unfortunate thing, and that one product that you absolutely need, you can't get because your supplier can't get it to you. So I would have I had two main suppliers and a third reserve supplier that I would use from time to time. And the main reason is then, if product A, was unavailable from one supplier, I could phone up the other supplier and say, "Oh, have you got product A available? Oh, yeah, we can get that to you." And if by some weird coincidence neither A nor neither supplier could get them, I could go. I'd probably have to pay a premium going to the third supplier, but if it keeps my customers happy and I get it, I bite that. I absorb that cost. But I've got 3 suppliers. What's Germany gone? It's got 1 supplier. And as long as that 1 supplier is fine, the world is good. That 1 supplier is not fine. That 1 supplier is a psychopath. And Germany knows this. And their moronic Greens still said, no, this is the way. Like some kind of deluded Mandalorian. This is not the way. And now they're learning, and they're about to pay a very heavy price. Good luck. If you like what you hear and see on this channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications for future content. Leave a like and leave a comment. We read and respond to all comments. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and goodbye.